The biggest problem with every top 15 player. Let's get right into the video. 15. Davidovich Fokina. This man has game. Aggressive, athletic, but his biggest problem is his own mind. In clutch situations, you cannot trust him. Proof of it is he's had championship points in multiple tournaments and he still remains without an ATP title. 14. Khachanov. One of the most consistent players of the last decade. This man makes you work your ass off if you want to beat him, and with his size, power is not a problem. But his biggest problem is that top players do figure him out. At times he can be too predictable, and top players make you pay. If he wants to get to the top 10 and stay there, he needs to add layers to his game. Number 13. Daniil Medvedev. His biggest problem used to be the clay courts, but this man was able to conquer a Masters 1000 on them, so let's choose something else. And no, I'm not gonna ask Daniil to add layers to his game, because already with what he has, he was able to reach the world number 1, and when he's confident and in form, he's had some incredible winning streaks where he looks unstoppable. But that might be his biggest problem. When he loses his confidence, he has streaks where he loses to way lower ranked players. It's like his aura diminishes on the court and he looks way more beatable. Number 12. Holger Rune. This kid's arsenal is pretty much unlimited. Weapons everywhere, which makes him dangerous from any position on the court. His biggest problem is clearly his consistency. At times he plays like a top 3 player and you say to yourself, damn, this guy's the future. But other times, his performance is full of mistakes and bad attitude. So despite him being an absolute beast at his best, players do know he is vulnerable, and even low-ranked players go out on the court believing they've got a chance. Number 11. Jack Draper. This kid over the past year has proved that he's got everything to be right at the top. Everything except a healthy body. His young career as of now has been very limited by his injuries. He's been out for the second part of the 2025 season with an arm injury. Hopefully his health will treat him better in the future. Number 10. Auger-Aliassime. What a season the Canadians had. But the problem is that you cannot rely on him to have a similar season next year. Because as of now, Felix throughout the years has struggled with his consistency. 3 years ago, he ended 2022 as world number 6, with some tremendous results in indoor hard courts. You would think that he arrived to the top 10 to stay there, but for the next 2 seasons, he really struggled to be consistent. He ended both as world number 19 and really dependent on 1 or 2 big results in the whole year. Now, he's back inside the top 10, he looks to me as confident as he's ever been, so let's see if he's able to stay there. Number 9. Casper Ruud. What an amazing career this man is having. With the weapons he has, I really don't think his career could be turning out much better. This man has maximized his potential, and his biggest problem is that top 5 players, who are the ones who have stopped him from winning big titles, they're simply absolute beasts. So a bit like Khachanov, if I have to say a problem with Ruud, it has to be that he needs more layers to his game to beat these top guys. Ruud is extremely good at what he does, being disciplined and consistent, but that is not enough against generational talents. Number 8. Lorenzo Musetti. What a breath of fresh air, a man with a one-handed backhand getting inside the top 10. A man with a game full of variety and extreme discipline. Getting inside the top 8 is an incredible achievement, but Musetti's problem, if he wants to get even higher, is that he lacks that one-punch type of winner, that lethal power that every top player has. Musetti has to work his way through points, at times needing 1 or 2 extra shots compared with the guys on the top. Against lower ranked players, that might not be a problem, but against the beasts at the top, it does take its toll. Number 7. Ben Shelton. What a season it's been for Ben Shelton. This kid is right up there in terms of level, and the consistency he's been able to have this season has been remarkable. He's reached the stage where all his losses at big tournaments come only against the top of the top. So what do these top players have better than him? It's definitely not the power. So what I would say he's levels below at, from the top of the top, is his return game, which has improved a lot this season by the way. But still, when you watch Carlos, Yannick, Novak, they have the opponent under constant pressure on every service game. It has to feel suffocating to play against them. With Shelton, you have more space to breathe, and you don't have that feeling that he's annihilating his opponents with very one-sided results very often. Number 6. Alex de Minaur. Possibly the fastest guy on tour. This guy has stepped it up in the last season. His consistency has been remarkable, and you do have a feeling that this guy might be in the top 10 for multiple years. His biggest problem is the same one as Musetti. He doesn't have that huge weapon, that lethal power that the top players have. The good thing is that he's very good at finishing points at the net, but still, when you're playing against the top of the top, you have to have a weapon that gives you 3 points. Consistency and determination is not enough, and the tough part about power is that to a degree you either have it or you don't. You can improve it a little bit, but a guy that doesn't have big strokes, as much as he works on them, he will never have them. So being number 6 in the world with what he has, I think de Minaur has very possibly reached the peak of his career. Number 5. Novak Djokovic. If he wants to win his first Grand Slam, I think Djokovic has to... Oops, it's not this player, sorry. Winning his 25th Grand Slam at this point of his career, it seems like a very difficult task, with Alcaraz and Sinner being as good as they are. Against the rest of the tour, he's proved to be still at 38, good enough to be considered favourite against anyone. But Sinner and Alcaraz, they play at a different level. A level that requires peak physical fitness, which not only includes explosiveness to live with them from the back of the court, but also the ability to do so for 4 or 5 hours. Something that, if we're being realistic, Djokovic at 38 cannot do, even if his shots or his determination are still there. Biology says his physical condition should go down in these years, so even though it's Novak Djokovic we're talking about, age catches up to every single one of us. Number 4. Taylor Fritz. Fritz is definitely another case of someone who has maximized his potential. He very rarely loses matches that he shouldn't, and number 4 in the world is not for free. His consistency has been remarkable. Now the question is, what does Fritz need to beat Sinner, Alcaraz, and in his case Djokovic? His biggest problem against these guys is that they have more layers to their game. They have more options, more variety, and in a matchup where you know both players are rarely gonna miss shots that they shouldn't miss, the ability to change pace, to drop shot, and keep the opponent guessing, that's what may cause some extra mistakes in the opponent. Fritz's big hitting and consistency from the back of the court is enough to beat the rest of the tour. But Sinner, Alcaraz, Djokovic, these guys have an extra gear. Number 3. Alexander Zverev. He's been knocking on the door of winning a Grand Slam for many years now, and he's been as close as 2 points away from it, but Zverev, in the biggest moments of his career, hasn't trusted his game enough. He's been too passive, too dependent on the opponent, and when you're playing final stages of big tournaments, you're going against players that do trust themselves. You cannot depend on a guy like Alcaraz or Sinner to miss, because precisely in those clutch moments is where they raise their level. And it's something that even Federer has mentioned in an interview. If Zverev wants to win a Grand Slam, he has to trust his game more and go for it. Number 2. Jannik Sinner. The biggest problem with Sinner is he's too good. People don't even want to watch his matches because they already know he's gonna win. In all seriousness, despite this being partially true, Sinner's only problem has one name. It's called Carlos Alcaraz. If you eliminate his losses against Alcaraz in the last 2 years, we would be talking about the best 2 seasons in tennis history. Alcaraz has won 7 of the last 8 matches between each other, many of these being very close, but it seems like the best version of Carlos Alcaraz is still a bit better than the best version of Jannik Sinner. After his loss against him in the US Open, Sinner called his own game too predictable, and stated that he will be working on adding layers and unpredictability to his game. Let's see how that turns out, as if this guy wasn't good enough already. Number 1. Carlos Alcaraz. The best version of Carlos Alcaraz is unstoppable, right up there with the highest peaks in tennis history. But his biggest problem, without a doubt, has been his consistency. losing matches that he shouldn't with a lot of mistakes. However, in this 2025 season, that problem seems to have disappeared, with Alcaraz making 9 straight finals and showing without a doubt the most consistent version of him so far in his career. So is the problem solved? If you consider it is, I cannot mention any other. His game is limitless, he plays his best tennis when he needs it the most, he's dominated his biggest matchup so far, so if the problem of consistency has been solved for good, this guy has absolutely got no limitations. Even the best of the best have their weaknesses, as small as they are. Let me know in the comments if you liked the breakdown and if you agree or would add anything to the video. If you enjoyed it, it's of massive help if you hit the like button. And to enjoy more tennis content like this, subscribe to the channel to know when I upload future videos like this one. All of this said, I hope you have a wonderful day and that I can see you in my next video. Peace!